We all have those moments where everything feels heavy, whether that is anxiety, overwhelm, or doubt. But here's the truth, you always have a choice. So, this episode isn't necessarily about how to control your emotions, but it is about choosing how you interpret them and where you direct their energy. Emotions themselves aren't problems, but the real power lies in what we decide to do with them. Every emotion carries energy, and that energy can either spiral you down or move you forward. So, for example, frustration can pull you into self-doubt, or it can push you to change, grow, and try something new. And when I find myself in these negative emotions or like moments of negativity, I remind myself how exciting it is that a bigger shift can come from this. And so, how do we make that shift? How do we turn that negative emotion into something more positive? And the first step is to become aware of it. So you can notice what you're feeling. You can say, you know what, I'm feeling negative, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling drained, and allow yourself to feel it without judgment. Because the issue a lot of the times is that we feel these emotions and we feel the shame that comes with it. We attach shame to it, which makes it even harder to not let it affect us negatively. So when you're starting to feel these emotions, rather than be like, I can't believe I'm feeling this, or making ourselves feel bad about it or judging them, just say, you know what, this is what I'm feeling. Like, you can name it without judging it. The next step is to pause and separate. So create a space between you and the feeling, and remember that you are not the emotion. So instead of saying I am anxious, you can say I am feeling anxious. It's just something that you're carrying, which means you're also allowed to put it down. It's not attached to you. It's like if you're carrying a bag, for example, that bag isn't attached to you. At any moment, you could be like, you know what, this bag feels heavy. I'm gonna put it down, or I'm gonna take some things out of the bag and lighten it. And so your emotions are not attached to you. And when you create that shift and create that space between it, it also creates room for you to respond differently. The third step is to reframe the questions that you are asking yourself. So most of us go straight into, why is this happening to me? Why can't things just work out, when we are living in that place of negative emotions? But a better question to ask yourself is, what can this emotion teach me? How can I use this for my growth? Because the truth is, every single one of your quote unquote negative emotions, and I say quote unquote negative emotions because there's no need to call them positive or negative necessarily, but every single one of these emotions or challenges are here for you to grow and learn, and they're not here to bring you down. So it is up to you to ask yourself, how can I use this for my growth, and what can this teach me? The fourth step is to choose a more positive frame, and this was something my mom really instilled in me when I was younger, and I remember how freeing it was that even when something so-called negative would happen in my life, there always seemed to be a positive that was able to come out of it. And I was always able to be like, you know what, look at this positive thing that was able to come out of this thing that I thought was negative. And that is how life is. When you decide to choose to find the positive in a negative, choose to find the growth in a hardship, you will always be able to use your negative emotions or hard times as your biggest catalysts. So decide to turn it into presence, to growth, to fuel or clarity. And just realize that those negatives, those downfalls, those breakdowns are really here to help you skyrocket into something else. So whether that is a breakup, whether that is the feeling of loneliness or sadness or feeling frustration, like all of those things are just signals that are put into your life. They're signals that it is time for you to shift. And when you choose to see them not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones, everything is able to change for you. And just again, like really realizing that it wouldn't be put into your life if you weren't able to handle it. And so really just being like, you know what, this is put in my life for a reason. It is happening for me so that I can grow from this, so that I can learn from this, so that I can become a better version of me. And how lucky am I to be able to get these challenges that I know that I can handle so that I can grow from it. And then the fifth and final step is to take a small action. So anchor that shift with something tangible. Maybe that's journaling, maybe it's practicing gratitude or moving your body, or even just taking a deep breath can turn your awareness into momentum. And in my own life, when I catch myself feeling down or anxious, I follow this process. I notice it, I let myself feel it without judgment, and then I ask myself, how can this help me? And most of the time, I'll just grab my journal and journal the positives of the challenge or how I can grow from it. And that simple act changes the entire direction of my day. And again, I just want to emphasize it is human to feel all sorts of emotions. It is normal to feel the lows. It is normal to feel down sometimes. And if anything, like those parts of life is what really helps you appreciate the highs, and it is what really helps you get to the highs. And so when you're feeling it, you're allowed to journal that part through. You're allowed to let yourself feel it and be like, you know what, I'm a human being. I'm feeling these feelings, but I know that something better is able to come out of it, because life is truly full of things that we can't control, and emotions are natural, but we always have the power to choose how we meet them. So every single negative can become a positive when you decide to see it that way. And the mantra that I want to leave you with today is, I choose to see the positive no matter what shows up.